70,000 wild dogs in Auckland. Can you believe it? 70,000 wild dogs. And potentially 10 million wild cats or feral cats as well. So in COVID, we had all these nice, cute kittens and we had all these nice puppies. And then 5 years later, it's been a complete disaster. I got this email from Mama Minnie, who is an animal rescuer out of Palmerston North. She's based in Palmerston North. And she sent an email over the weekend to a number of us in journalism, I suppose, in media. And she said, Duncan, we need mandatory desexing. When this was brought up with Andrew Hogarth, who's in government, he fobbed us off to Tama Pōtaka as Minister for Conservation. I don't even think he knows it's his responsibility, not Tama's. Sai. There's no use passing laws on treatment of animals when the current laws themselves aren't enforced and when there's no laws on controlling the overpopulation of animals. I'd love to chat more if you're keen. It's a good time to bring this issue to public light. I'm writing to you as a desperate rescue founder. The same as all the rest of us in the country. I can put you in touch with other founders as well. But COVID, the pandemic ended, but this pandemic of unwanted dumped kittens and puppies has no end in sight. We need the media to help make a difference. We're exhausted mentally, physically, emotionally and financially. Please help. And Rukmini Vadke joins us now. Minnie, g'day. Nice to have you on the program.
Good morning. How are you?
Not too bad. It's got really bad again, has it? Really bad.
I mean, I wouldn't say again. It's been really bad ongoing, but yeah, desperate times, and I'm basically just doing whatever's in my power to get the word out there.
Yeah. I was looking at some of the numbers of the roaming dogs in Auckland, and I think it was 70,000 roaming dogs. It is a phenomenal number, and I think for the first time we're now putting more dogs down than we are saving them and finding them new homes. It's your job to rescue them and find homes, right?
Yeah, I mean, along with the Pound and SPCA, it is private local rescues like myself that shoulder that burden. And, you know, like I said in my email, it's great that we're going to have new regulations later on in the year about tethering dogs, and it gives SPCA and MPI, you know, sort of clear guidelines on what is and isn't allowed and enforceable, and you can issue fines. But that's not going to solve the problem, as you say, of these 70,000 roaming dogs or of the hundreds and thousands of puppies that we take in each year. It won't make a difference. And the reason these dogs are usually roaming is A, poor ownership, you know, they haven't secured their property, but also B, they're on, you know, the prowl looking for female dogs in heat. So if you control the root cause, because, you know, I'm a former business analyst, I look at this from a data and stats perspective. If you control the root cause, which is mandatory desexing, you wouldn't have as many roaming dogs. There wouldn't be as many female dogs in heat. So, yeah, it is a sort of win having this tethering regulations. I can't even call it legislation because it's not. It's regulations, and that's an important distinction. But, yeah, unless we address the root cause, which is mandatory desexing, unfortunately, we're not actually we're gonna get anywhere. And also with this tethering law, it allows the SPCA to issue fines without as much red tape. Now, most people from personal experience will tell you that if someone doesn't give a damn that much about their dog roaming and getting other dogs pregnant or getting pregnant themselves, they're not really going to care about being issued a fine. It's not much of a deterrent.
How does the tethering? I don't know much about the tethering rules. So tell me about this new rule that's coming in.
Oh, let me tell you. So I actually have no idea, and nor does Andrew Hogarth, actually. I listened to his interview 6 days ago on the platform with Leah, and this is what I took away, that SPCA will now be able to issue a fine. He still calls it the RSPCA, which it's not. It's the SPCA in New Zealand, so that's great from the minister, you know, in charge of this stuff. He doesn't remember the fine amount. He doesn't know how operationally this is going to work. Quote, he said, chat to the RSPCA. I'm not sure how that's going to fit into their operations. He's unsure if there will be any follow-up from the SPCA once they've given that education piece to the owner. And he's not actually sure where the fine money goes. He said, again, quote, probably the SPCA. So, yeah, these regulations come out later in the year, and I have no goddamn idea what they are. And I don't think he does either.
What's the situation like at the moment and where you are? So for your rescue, how bad is it still and it continues to be bad?
Yeah, so I mean, you and I spoke on your podcast on the 7th of March, and at that time, I had 56 cats and 8 dogs or puppies and kittens go through my care. We're now on 22nd April, so it's just about on the 6-week mark that I'm speaking to you again, and I've now had 77 cats or kittens and 25 dogs or puppies. So in just 6 weeks, I've had 21 more cats come through here, and that's not including all the sick kittens that have passed away. That's just because they couldn't make it. And I've had 17 dogs or puppies come through here since the last 6 weeks I spoke to you. That's how bad it is in Palmy. So I can only imagine in Auckland. But that's how bad it is here. And just this month, I've been approached by 3 different people about their dogs having a litter of 12, and 13 puppies just this month. Where am I going to take in 12, and 13? You do the quick math there. Where am I going to take in 37 puppies? And they're being given away on social media for free. Or one of them actually had a sign on their street front saying free puppies. So, yeah. Great for tethering regulations that we don't even know what they are, or to issue a fine. Yay, that we know that's going to work. But let's think of it this way: it's going to be illegal, not really, it's not a legislation, it's a regulation. It's going to be finable to tether your dog, which it should be. It absolutely should be. Don't get me wrong, but it's going to be not illegal or finable or anything to then take their dog and then breed it to death, basically. What's the point? How close?
How expensive is it to have mandatory desexing? How hard would it be to bring this sort of policy in?
It wouldn't be hard to bring it in terms of the crossing your T's, dotting your I's, like the paperwork legislation side of it. We just need someone with the balls to do it. We need, any government, pink, blue, red, black, white, I don't give, a damn. We need someone to get on with it. In terms of the practicality of doing it, yes, it will be cumbersome to start off with because, you almost have to give sort of a grace period, and allow a bit of amnesty. And offer up, vouchers or subsidizing or whatever. But I think what people don't realize, the government especially, is that it would be an investment. They're looking short term, like, it's going to be so regulatory and hard to implement. But think downriver. It's going to save us a lot of money. It's actually even going to save ratepayers money because if we don't have that much, of a need for the pound to be active and, dog registration fees and things, should technically go down. So it's just unfortunately short-term thinking. Again, in the letter Andrew Hogarth sent to the National Animal Welfare Committee, he asked them to pause all work on companion animal codes of welfare, again, quoting that the government wants to see a focus on the primary sector and exports and that they care about customers and consumers. And I think that speaks volumes because he is, at the end of the day, Associate Minister of Agriculture, which I don't know what companion animals has to do with agriculture. Absolutely nothing. So they get lost in there. And that letter, honestly, if you read it, I'm just like, okay, so we care about how we look internationally. And it's funny because at the end of the letter, he says, I would like to see New Zealand animal welfare standards continue to be regarded as the best in the world. And it made me laugh because I looked up New Zealand on the World Animal Protection Index. And it's not great. We get a D for protecting companion animals. We get a C for laws against animal suffering. And we get a C for government accountability for animal welfare. So I'm not sure what he's talking about because we're failing. B, C, and C.
What about what would be the cost of desexing? Who picks up if we had mandatory desexing, what's the cost to desex a dog?